Treble impressions. Here we go. These are smooth. That top end extension is really sweet. Not the liveliest sounding speaker, that's for darn sure. Top end extension is definitely relaxed, it's smooth, it's sweet. You know, it's really interesting. So off axis, so if I take off my headphones and listen to these off axis, meaning they're face forward into the room, and I do that for the sound clips, these are actually pretty darn boring, very tame. So these would be a speaker that you really do need to toe in. So you're going to have them pointing at your shoulders or at your ears or whatever you want to do. One of the things that I noticed earlier, had the headphones off, is these image really, really well. And these are a speaker that do disappear quite well. You've got, if you're a big fan of Soundstage, these do that. And that's one of those tracks right there that we were just listening to where these just completely vanish. You know, we're talking about top-end extension treble impressions, and I can't help but notice that these have a lot of body, so we'll have to get to that. One thing at a time. Yeah, you know, these are smooth. These are easy to listen to speakers. I don't think that you're going to have to worry about getting into, you know, listening fatigue. They don't sound bright. They don't sound forward. They don't sound harsh. There is enough detail, especially on axis, where things are interesting. But off axis, they do get a bit boring. So you're gonna have to, you know, work with these in terms of positioning to get them exactly where you want. Yeah. All right. Let's do upper mid range. Big fan of that. Yeah, so that track is kind of the that's kind of the Achilles heel for a lot of speakers. Kind of brings them down to their knees, but these did just fine. this was one of the tracks that I was listening to earlier with the headphones off. You know, when we talk about soundstage, speakers disappearing in the room, this was one of those tracks that was certainly a highlight for me. That was something that these did really, really well with that track, for sure. Nothing about the upper mid-range sounds congested to me. It sounds open and it sounds free. So that's good. That's what an electric guitar is supposed to sound like. Moving on. Possibly perfect on that one. These mid-range on these, I can tell you right now, meat on the bones, that campfire warmth, which I'm a big fan of, and yet there seems to be just the right amount of detail retrieval. So it keeps you leaning into the music and you don't get bored. So yeah, that set the bar pretty high. Wow, same thing. So lots of body, lots of texture. You know, the mid-range on these, it reminds me of Sabrina, to be honest with you. It just has this ability to punch through the mix, and it has heft and weight. It has velocity behind it, so it brings it out. And man, whew, I'm really digging the mid-range on these guys, for sure. Fantastic. Beautiful. Look, what do you want me to say? Beautiful. Wow. You know, off access earlier when I was listening to this, so had the headphones off and had these set up exactly how they were. I thought that ride sounded pretty boring. You're going to want to listen to these pointing at your shoulders or at you. I'm committed to recommending that for sure. No doubt about it. Yeah, so mid-range on these, yep, all day long. They called their shot and they nailed it. mid-range on these guys is beautiful. Has body, has weight. So if you're if you're a fan of a thinner sounding mid-range, then these are not for you. The mid-range has heft, it has weight, it has texture, it has that ability to punch through the mix, and man, it's really, really well done. It has just enough detail to keep things interesting. So without question, so far my favorite thing about these speakers is the mid-range. All right, moving into mid-bass. The staging on that last little whoop earlier, I was listening to that, and it's just like it's crazy good. So mid bass so far not bad. I feel like, well, let's hold your horses there, Ron. Let's keep going. Probably going to be mid bass and bass. So let's just get this out of the way right now. I think you're going to need subs with these. I hear the notes, I just don't feel them. Okay, yeah, without a doubt, you got to have subs with these. Alrighty, bass. I was listening to this track earlier, and it needs more heft, more weight. So look, I don't want to beat a dead horse here. These speakers seem fine. The mid-range is incredible. I just want to be clear that if you decide to hit the checkout button, got to get a sub. It's required. You have to get one. Sorry, it's just the way it goes. it's crazy because there's so much stuff above mid bass and bass that I really, really like about these speakers. But then when it gets to mid bass and bass, I'm like, come on, guys, like you can do it. Like, come on, fight a little bit harder. And it's not that it's bad. I want to be careful with my words. I'm hearing the notes. I'm just not hearing the notes with authority, with like, yeah, with confidence. So, okay. On a lot of speakers, big boy speakers, that lower end content just comes in and, you get that huge payoff. And with these, they're playing the notes. They're just not delivering the goods. It's a bummer. It's really weird. So like with that, where it's just kind of a repeat of the same notes over and over and over again, it just so happened that they were hitting all the right notes and we were getting some energy out of these speakers. So it's weird. It's like some notes just don't pop. And I don't know why that is. That's interesting. I don't know what it is that I'm hearing, and I want to be humble about it, but it seems to me that there are some mid bass and bass notes that hit, like in this last little song here. They hit, and you get the payoff, and everything is great. And then there's some other notes, different octaves, that don't. Mid bass and bass could be better. Mid range is superb. I can really see if you're like into jazz. Oh man, I think these would crush you. I think this is what you would be looking for, is this kind of a thing. Upper mid range and top end extension sounded fine, smooth, not fatiguing at all. Not for me, anyways. So yeah, they're beautiful. Let's get that part right. These speakers are beautiful. Some of the prettiest speakers that I've ever seen. All right. See you guys soon.